Hey everybody, this is Dave from OrgoneGenerator.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to effectively use Orgonite Pyramids with an Orgone generator. Alright, in front of me I've got the Performer 2400 HD, very powerful Orgone generator, and I've got a 4 large plus 1 small Orgonite Pyramid set. And what I want to do is, so this is going to be an in-depth tutorial. I want to go over, our pyramids are very powerful, they're very flexible. What I want to do is go step by step with how you should use them and talk about their flexibility and hopefully show you some things that you haven't thought about. Okay, so we're going to start at the beginning and we're going to go all the way through. And the first thing that you want to think about with the pyramids is how are they linked? So when you get the pyramids, they're already linked by us, structurally linked. But I think it's a good idea for you to link them again yourself. So how do you do that? So first of all, you can link the pyramids in any way that you want. So I've got 4 large, 1 small. I can link small to each large, but not larges to each other. I can link these 2 together. I can link these 3 together. You can really mix and match and link any way you want, okay? And linking stuff is very simple. So what I want to do is I want to show you basically how to do that, okay? So how about we just link, so the way pyramids are supposed to work in a pyramid set, and I'm going to talk about individual pyramids as well, but this is more based on our Orgonite pyramid sets that are supposed to be paired with generators. So I'm going to talk about, I'm going to use that more as the context that will, a lot of the things that we talk about will apply to individual pyramids as well. What if you only have 1 large pyramid? So a lot of the stuff we talk about is going to apply to that as well. But I'm going to discuss in the context of sets because that's, we really envision the pyramids in sets paired with an Orgone generator. So, this small pyramid, the way they're supposed to function is basically you have the small pyramid, what we call the anchor pyramid, right? So we got a small pyramid. This is supposed to be linked to the other pyramids, and then you take the pyramids and you put them in other places, around your house, property, wherever. And by virtue of the linking between the small pyramid and the larger pyramids, these larger pyramids receive Orgone from the device. Okay, so that's kind of the idea of, and since these pyramids are Orgonite, these are nice, hard, smooth, made of fine iron powder and epoxy. Since they are Orgonite, they accumulate life energy. Okay, so if you put this in the garden, it will accumulate life energy from the surrounding plants and soil and stuff like that. If it's connected to the generator is producing life energy. So if a pyramid is connected to the generator, it is going to be, soaking in the life energy until it becomes saturated, and then it's going to pass the life energy off around, to the surrounding area. So a generator, when you turn it on, it has a radius, and it operates beyond space and time, we believe, but it also has, we're not sure of how far the radius is for each device, but I've had people walk into my house before. I've had generators on in a back room, and they're like, "What is that? I feel something." So there's clearly a physical element to it. It'll just spread. Orgone coming from the device will just spread and saturate an area until it's pulled by living things or it just dissipates. The pyramids are sort of the same. Okay, so this will become saturated with Orgone, and I like to use the analogy of an Orgone lamp. A lamp, you flip on the light, and suddenly light lights up a dark room, and the light spreads. It's the same way with this. So this will fill up with Orgone, and then it'll start spreading Orgone to the surrounding area. And it's just an easy way to spread the physical distance of a device, with another physical object. So I think it's really good, and it looks good. You could put it in your living room. You could put it in a lot of places in your house. Looks like nice home decor. It's shiny, smooth, black. It's very, people could think it's something like shungite or something, but really it's spreading Orgone and positive energy everywhere, so it's very functional as well. So that's the basic purpose, okay? And I review that just to set the frame for why you would want to link things in a certain way, and then once they're linked, the things that you can do with them. Okay, so basic idea, we've got a generator, We've got an anchor pyramid. It's linked to these other pyramids. These other pyramids are taking in orgone, passing it to the surrounding area. Okay, so that's the basic functionality of the pyramids. Now, I want to talk about linking pyramids. So I think it's a good idea for everyone to link pyramids when they get them. So they're linked when they come to you, but I think it's a good idea to link them again yourself. Why? Because they're your pyramids and they're your and it's your device. So if you link them all together, you know that's probably a stronger energetic connection. So what you should do is first of all figure out how you want to link them, and then create a trend to link them. So let me give you a few examples here. All right, so let's say I want to link the small pyramid with each large pyramid, but I don't want to link the large pyramids together, okay? I just want this to go there, this to go there, this to go there, this to go there, but I don't want a linkage between the large pyramids. How would I do that? Quite simply, I would just write a statement, a simple statement that an objective third party, could read and know what it means. So like this: link small pyramid with each large pyramid. So when you write this, you could write this in a number of different ways. You could say, don't link large pyramids. You could have two sort of trends or two sentences in the trend. But basically, when you write a trend for this sort of thing, this is something I was talking to Carl about recently, write it kind of for an objective third party. On one hand, you know what you mean, and that is good. But maybe it takes on more of a life of its own if you not only know what you mean, but an objective third party would know what you mean as well. So I wrote these so that somebody who I don't know, I could hand them this and they would know what I mean if they just read it. So link small pyramid with each large pyramid. So all you do with this trend, you can put it on the device or in front of you can kind of see the silver output tube right here. Put it right there. Boom, linked. Okay, so it doesn't take long. It's the intention. It's saying what to do. It's the intention. You create the linkage very, very quickly. Okay, so this is just one example of, if I wanted, like I said, if I wanted to link the small with each large, but I didn't want to link the largest together, this is how I would do it. Okay, quickly, if you ever link things and you want to change it, or you forgot how you link things, something like that, you can always unlink the pyramids as well, okay? And how would you do that? A written trend, unlink all pyramids. So, I'll just do it. If I place this here, or I place it in front of the silver output tube, really if I place it anywhere near the device, try to pull this here, the pyramids are now unlinked, okay? So just unlink all pyramids is very simple. If you had two linked and you want to unlink them, you could just say unlink those pyramids, So once again, simple written statements, put it on your device, put it in front of the silver output tube. Those are the places we recommend. And really, you could put it near the generator, but we say on the device or in front of the silver output tube. Okay? Now, how would I link all of... We talk about a really important concept called an energetic grid. Okay? And that's really the foundation of why we came up with these pyramid sets. Is the idea is to have your generator and then to have pyramids and to connect all the pyramids with each other and with the generator to create an energetic grid of protection, of power. That's really why we thought this up. So how would I link all pyramids together? So I want the small linked with all the larges, and then I want each large linked with each other as well. Okay, so you get this real big crisscross. Okay, and I mean it's only 4. If you had more, it'd be a real crisscross of connections. So how do I do that? Very simple. Link all pyramids. Okay, so I just unlinked them a second ago. So link all pyramids. Link all pyramids. And now, regardless of where I take these in the world, each pyramid will be linked with each other and with the generator. Okay, so it's as simple as this is linked with this, and this is linked with this, and this, and this. Okay, so that structural link can be very powerful, And when you create a connection between all the pyramids, you kind of get this crisscross, this energetic grid of positive orgone. And that's very valuable, and I'm going to show you some of the ways that you can use that field and manipulate that. What if you only want to link a couple pyramids? That's not hard. So, you know, I could do the same operation, and I could just move some pyramids away. Okay, so maybe you take them to another room, maybe you take them off the table, but the main thing is, the main thing is you don't intend for these over here to be linked. You just want to link these two. That's a way to that's a way to connect just a few pyramids. So I could link the small pyramid with these two, but not with these two, and I could just go put these in the house somewhere. You know what I mean? Or I could link, all three of these together, but only link the small with each of these, so that these big ones over here are not linked. Okay? There's any number of configurations. Just write the trend and place on the device. And any pyramid you want linked or you want involved, keep it near the device. Okay? So that's the main thing with linking, is that you can link them in any way you want. And even if I didn't have the small, so we made this to keep this on the device to link with other stuff. Let's say if I just wanted to link these two, okay, I could do that. And then I'll keep this on the device, and then I'll move this one, Or, pull all of them together. The small's not even involved. I want to carry the small in my pocket or something. I'll just keep this, I'll just link this with all of these. The size doesn't matter. The operation matters, okay? So just figure out how many pyramids you have, where you want to put them, and what you want to do with them, and then you can figure out how to link them, okay? So I'm trying to give a detailed explanation because I think it is important to do linkage yourself, to link things yourself, and it can be overlooked. And I think people think that there's only one way to do something with life energy, with life force. There's a lot of ways to do things, and many ways work. So I want to give you the flexibility to know what you can do, so that you can do what you want to do. Okay, once you know what you can do, you can figure out what you want to do and actually execute it. So now let's get into some of the functionality of the pyramids. If you have pyramids and you have a generator, I would actually recommend you take a computer or over to them, have them at hand so you can work through this with me. This video is all about empowering you to use your device and your pyramids in a way that is more effective for you to get the results that you want. That's what we're all about. So this is a hands-on tutorial. The only way to learn how to use this stuff is by actually doing it. And if you sit down and you watch the videos that we do and you really work through it carefully, you'll be able to use your stuff a lot better. So let's start with trend cards, because I love trend cards. I think they're very, very powerful. I use them daily. If I'm trying to create an operation and there's a trend card, instead of doing a written intention, a lot of times I'll just use a trend card if one exists for the desired outcome, effect, or result that I want. So I love trend cards, and they pair really, really well with pyramids. Okay, so I'm going to start with them, and we're just going to go through kind of step by step different things that you can do with the pyramids and ways you can use them, and then you can figure out what best suits you. Okay, so let's assume that, and I'll just do it here, link all pyramids. Okay, so our pyramids are linked. Every pyramid is linked with another pyramid, okay? So if you think about it, this is an important equation that we always talk about. Target plus trend plus life energy, okay? The life energy comes from the generator, and because this is orgonite and it's connected to the generator, life energy is here as well, okay? So you can, and this is kind of a foundational concept, you can energize a trend via a pyramid because it has pulsing life energy by virtue of being connected to the generator. Okay, so let's use an example. I want to do a couple examples. Okay, and I think these are there's a lot of different examples, but I want to show you how to use trend cards with a pyramid, and that'll set the stage for talking about some other functionality as well. So here is a trend card. Protection from physical danger. Okay, now this could be broad. This can mean a lot of things. It could mean from, you don't slip and fall to you don't want someone breaking in your home. Okay, but and the home thing is where I'm going with this. So many people want to create, they want to put pyramids around their home, their apartment, wherever, to create an energetic grid of protection. Okay. One way to do this, and this is just an example, I'm going to do a couple examples here, but imagine you take these 4 large pyramids and you put them on the 4 corners of your home, and they're all connected, and they're passing orgone back and forth, and they're connected to the generator. Okay. You could also put, here's how I would use the trend card, and you can see I've got 4 of the same type of trend card, right? If I want to energize this trend, let's say I put these on the 4 corners of my home, or I've got a front door and a back door. I put one on each side of my front door and back door. Okay, so I'm trying to create a grid for protection from physical danger for my home. Okay, all I have to do is take these trend cards and slip it under a pyramid. Okay, and I would just do this for every pyramid, and now the grid that already exists by virtue of being connected to the generator, now that grid is energizing the trend of protection from physical danger. Okay? And you can do multiple trend cards under pyramids. You can energize, you can have multiple operations running, but this is just a nice simple example of, I want to create an energetic grid of protection for my home. All right, I put these on the 4 corners of my house. I put the trend card underneath, boom. Okay, so that's a nice example. It's a simple example. Let me use another example. Pull these out. By the way, I use this trend card on my pets because I've got dogs and they're up at night and they bark at coyotes, and I don't want them to get hurt, so I use those for my pets. So let's use another example. Aid meditation. Okay, so we've got this trend card. Okay, and all these trend cards are available in our trend card pack. Like I said, I love trend cards. I can't get enough of them. That's why I talk about them so much. I'm going to show you how to do do stuff without trend cards, but I like talking about trend cards because they're so simple. So so we have aid meditation. So let's say, once again, all of these pyramids are linked. Let's say that there's a room that you go into in the morning. You wake up and you meditate every morning, all right? There's a room you go into where you meditate. I mean, for me, I wake up, I do it in my bedroom. There's a blank wall. I just go sit and stare at and breathe, and try to realize I'm just staring at a wall. So what you do is, so imagine that you want to sit in the middle of all these pyramids. Okay, and you want the grid around you. So you're going to sit right here and meditate. Well, if you want to aid meditation, you could just easily slip a trend card under each pyramid. And then when you're sitting in the middle, now these pyramids are energizing this trend, and they're passing orgone colored with that trend to you. So now you're sitting right here. All these pyramids have an aid meditation trend under them. And you're absorbing that that orgone and that trend. Okay, so that's just another example, and I like that. I'd recommend you do that. A lot of people meditate, and this trend card helps. So so that's an example of when we talk about an energetic grid. This is a good example of these are just 2 examples. You could have any number of examples. You could take a lot of times people are worried about negative frequencies, negative energy kind of coming into their home. On one hand, you might not need a trend card for that because positive orgone is already being passed to the linked pyramids. If you wanted to kind of strengthen that effect, you could simply put the charge with life force, which everybody already has. If you've been opening emails. So I could take this charge with life force. I could throw it under every pyramid, and now each pyramid, I mean, like I said, positive orgone is already going to the pyramids, but if you're worried about negative frequencies, you're worried about negative energy, what you could do is you could take the charge with life force trend card, put it under all of the pyramids, and now you've got a grid of charge with life force energy around your home, around wherever. Okay, because like I said, the small pyramid is passing to everything, but then all of these other pyramids are also gridded. So this is everybody has this. Everyone can do it. What would be the difference between using this card versus just allowing the energy to pass? Maybe this pulls more ambient life force as well from the surrounding environment. So maybe this is a little bit stronger trend. But it's easy. Everybody already has this. I sent this out. Everybody already has this. Everybody with a pyramid set can use this card. Print off however many pyramids you have, print off the number, link it up with the small, link it up with each other, stick it underneath, boom, you have an energetic grid. So that's a good way to, but the main point is, with these trend cards, I'll pull it out here, you have a trend and you want to energize it. Well, what do you need to energize it? You need life force. So I can put it on the generator, but if let's say the generator's in a back room and this is way out in my front room. Well, because the pyramid is connected to the generator, the trend still gets energized because of the structural link. And that's the important point, is that you don't have to run everything from your generator. The pyramids function as a source of life energy by virtue of their connection with the generator. So you can start to see the flexibility here. So that's one way to do it. Now another way that I want to talk about is kind of the reverse, because once again, target plus trend plus life energy, you need to make sure a target and a trend are connected to life energy and are connected to each other. That's kind of a big picture issue. And if you just take that model, then you'll quickly see all the different ways that you can do something. So a target and a trend must be connected to each other, because a target needs to have a trend, and then both of those must be connected to life energy. And you can do that through structural linkage of Orgonite pieces, and you can do that through structural links like target codes, trend codes. Okay, so another way to use the pyramids is this. Let's say I wanted to do the protection from physical danger again. So let's say I want to grid my house. Let's just use this as an example. But I don't want to put a trend card underneath every pyramid. Okay, so that's the way I did it the first time. I took this trend card, I printed it off 4 times, I put it under the pyramids. I only want to print it off once. So how could I have the pyramids grid with this trend without putting a trend card under every single pyramid? And the answer is fairly simple. So we've talked a lot about generator codes, structural links you place on your generator and then put on something else. We've talked about trend link codes, target codes. So very simple. So I have placed a trend code on the back of this. Okay, so I've got my protection from physical danger, and I've got my trend code on the back. Okay, now these are arbitrary numbers; they don't mean anything. But this is a trend link code because this is a trend. So this is a trend link. This is a trend link code. So what I could do if I wanted to protect my home, I could do something like this. I could place this. I'm going to move this. All the generators are linked, or excuse me, all the pyramids are linked. So I could place this on the generator, and then I can write the same code, and I can place that code under a pyramid. And I've written the code multiple times, so I can just place that code. I can just place that code instead of the trend card underneath each pyramid. Okay, so now the trend is on the generator, okay, not under, instead of doing, so basically instead of taking these trend cards and all the trend cards and placing them under the pyramids, I can just place one on the generator, and I can place the trend link code under each pyramid, and boom, this does the same thing. Okay, so now these the trend is the exact same because there's a structural link. So this trend is now linked, structurally linked to this pyramid, and all these to each pyramid, and the pyramids are all linked to each other. So you have the same energetic grid colored by the same trend, or energizing the same trend, and it works the same as if you put trend cards underneath all of them. So why would you do this? I'm just trying to show you flexibility. Maybe you don't want to print off a bunch of trend cards. They are, ink gets expensive after a little while. I mean, I print off a lot of trend cards, so printer ink can get expensive. And really, I just want to, it highlights a bigger point, is that, as long as a target and a trend are connected to life energy via some way, usually via structural link, you have an operation. Okay, so this can function as a source of life energy to energize a trend by virtue of the structural link. So once you start thinking about that, you'll start to see even more application. So this is so that's just another way to do that. Now let's do another trick. So another thing you can do. So people are very into. So we're gonna drop the trend cards for a second. And I want to talk about frequencies. So, the generator makes frequencies. So each of these, for the performer, for instance, each of these is a preset frequency, and then I have a continuous frequency dial. You can't quite see the frequency. Here, I'll just do it for you. But there's the frequency. So, so you have continuous frequency dials. You got a preset frequency. So that's for the performer, and all our devices have a frequency, okay? And the frequency is the pulse, is an electromagnetic pulse into the internal parts of the machine. That's what we believe produces orgone, okay? So but frequencies can matter. Frequencies give a different feel. In my experience and in our experience, different frequencies, orgone pulsed at colored by different frequencies gives a different feel. Example, 7.83 hertz. It has a very grounding feel to it, kind of earthing. It's an earthing feel. 14.1 hertz, more energetic. Okay, 33 hertz is that the balance. So different. Orgone colored by different frequencies, and frequencies themselves are a trend link. You want to feel a certain way, and so I will do energy and focus at 14.1 hertz. I'll add that to my own trends and my own operation sometimes. So can you, and like we said, a lot of this is to either grid a house or to place a pyramid in a room and to create a certain atmosphere in the room, right? You want it to pass positive orgone out to the rest of the room, whether people know it or not. But let's say you want to liven up a room. You can use frequencies because they're connected to the generator. And like I said, what you need is a source of life energy, which is the generator, and by extension, because they're connected, a pyramid, energizing a trend. And if it's just in a room, basically the implicit target is the room itself. But what you can do is, if you want orgone to pulse at a certain frequency, or to have the characteristics or feel of the certain frequency, all you have to do is this. So I've got a couple cards here. I've got 7.83 hertz, 14.1. I use both of these. Let's say I want to put this in my workout room because I want energy, okay? I take 14.1 hertz. Here, let's do it. I take 14.1 hertz and I place it under the pyramid and I put it in my workout room. Let's say I want to be calm. I put this in my bedroom. Boom. Now the orgone, so as I said, the pyramid will become saturated with orgone and it'll start passing it around to the surrounding area. With the frequency underneath, since the frequency is a trend, and it colors, it's the best way to say it colors the feel of the orgone. Now, this pyramid right here will be passing around orgone colored with the frequency of 7.83 hertz. You're going to get a more, most people are going to get a more grounding effect, okay? So this is going to be in the bedroom. The feel of the orgone in the area, in the surrounding area, as this becomes saturated and passes it on to the surrounding area, the feel is going to be more grounding. Whereas the feel of this one, as it becomes saturated and passes orgone to the surrounding area, it's going to be more energetic, okay? We've had people, use 14.1 hertz and say they couldn't sleep and they clean their whole house and stuff like that. So these are different. The frequencies tend to give a different feel of the orgone. And since it's a trend link and since it's connected to a life energy generator, it's going to pass off orgone at that frequency, colored with the feel of that frequency is the best way to say it. Okay, so that's a cool trick. People are always talking about, I want XYZ frequency. Can I set my generator to that? What I would say is, we personally, if you notice this generator, I've got all the dials hard right, like very hard to the, like clockwise, okay? And I do that because and I do that with all of my generators. I have a red 5 as well. I keep all the dials on each row turned as high as possible because I like when the frequency of the device is higher, it's producing more orgone faster. So people want to, specify the frequencies and stuff, but I actually think you ought to keep it as high as possible because that's the most orgone the fastest, which means you have the most to work with. And if you want a frequency from a life force perspective, if you write down the frequency and use that on your trend and use that just as a trend versus setting your device that, it functions the same way. So I can get 7.83 hertz, like feel of orgone, without setting my device to 7.83 hertz. I can set my device as high as possible, and I can use 7.83 hertz as a trend, and I can get the same result. So why would you not do it? You should do that. And you can do it how you want. People use frequencies differently, and the devices are very flexible, and they accommodate a lot of stuff, a lot of different methods. But I just want as much orgone as possible, as fast as possible, and then I will personally color my trends with a frequency via written statement. So that's a good trick right there. Something to think about. Give it a try. Let me know if you get the same feeling. I think you will. I personally have. So let me know. Okay, so now that you've seen frequencies, I want to show you, what it looks like to just put a different trend card under each pyramid and not have all the pyramids gridded together. Let's take this. You'd use something like this, link small pyramid with each large pyramid. You could, you could link them all if you wanted. You just have like a big cycle of trends. I mean, that could work for power in a lot of cases. But let's just say you want to put, one pyramid in each room that you have, and you want to put a trend card underneath, okay? So we'll remove the frequencies here. And this is as simple, so at this point I think you can see it, link small pyramid with each large. So the small pyramid is linked with each of the large, but the larges are not linked with each other, okay? So what would you do? Very simple, and I just want to show you. Let's say we're going to put this in the bedroom, and we want restful sleep. Simple. Throw that under there, okay? You want to do this in your living room where you're relaxing, relaxation and stress relief. Throw that under here. You want to do this in your workroom, concentration, okay? You need to be productive, throw that under this one. Your meditation room or place where you meditate, throw that. So, and you can mix and match these. You can put individual cards under each pyramid. I mean, multiple individual cards. So I could put 5 under each. It's all a matter of how much orgone do you have from the generator and, combined with the pyramid as far as how much each trend will be energized. You don't want to do too many trends because you want, it's better to get results with a few things than it is to get less or no results with a lot of things, right? So you do need to decide how many trends you're running and keep an eye on that. And you can, we have a lot of trend cards, so be creative with them, okay? I'll give you an example. Check out A New Love, right? So this is as a trend card, it's all possible instances of a new love. It's not just romantic love. It's not just sisterly love. It's not, love of a parent to a child. It's all instances of love. Okay. And so what you can do is you could place this. Let's say that you wanted to, you're having friends over, you have one of these pyramids in your living room. You could simply place this under the pyramid and fill the whole area, fill the room with the trend of love, via the connection to the generator and this charging the connection, energizing the connection. So you can be creative with it, but keep an eye on how many you're running. Not all devices have the same amount of output. Obviously, when we call something a heavy-duty device, that refers to Orgone output mostly. And so yeah, be creative, and but don't use too much. Okay. So now I want to cover. So what we covered earlier with the trend cards was, we put the trend cards underneath, and then I showed you how to put a trend card on the device, but still get the trend energized by the pyramids. Okay. What I want to show you now is you can do the same sort of thing with a written trend. So first of all, you can organize, you can put a written trend underneath a device, underneath a pyramid, and energize it the same way as a trend card. So I've got my target link here, Dave. You might not even need the target link, but I'll talk about that in a second. And then look, trends for Dave. Now I've put the structural link code there. You actually don't need this starting off, okay? So you don't need this starting off. So watch this. I can simply, if I want to energize and the trend is deep, peaceful, restful sleep. So I want to put this under the pyramid in my bedroom because I need to get good sleep. So what I would do is just this right here. Boom. Now, because there's a target and a trend and a connection to life energy, this is getting energized. This trend is getting energized, okay? I need a paper clip, but bear with me. So you can easily do this. So this has a lot of flexibility. Let's say that you're at the office. I write a lot of trends throughout the day. All of my generators are in one room, and that's where I spend most of my time. But let's say that your generators are downstairs, but your office is upstairs. But you think about operations during the day, and you just want to write them, but you don't want to walk downstairs. You can pull a trick like this. Keep a pyramid with you, and write your trend, put it under, and it'll start getting filled up. It might not be as good as if it were right next to a powerful generator, okay? Because Orgonite is limited to an extent by the amount of Orgonite and the rate that the Orgone moves into it. But it's a start. It's a good start. Let's say it's the office. You keep your generators at home. Maybe you could take a pyramid to the office, and when you think about an operation, you can just write it, make it real fast, put it under the pyramid, then take it home with you at the end of the day. But it's getting energized immediately. So this sort of setup, the fact that you can do, previously, so I could do, I said restful sleep. I've got a trend card for that, but the trend cards are great, and I use them when possible. But a written intention, especially performed properly, will do the same thing. And I think these are powerful. So, I would trust these more than a lot of my written intentions, if you will. I just think they're a great thing where I just know the quantity. I know it's good versus having to be good myself. So that's why I use it, kind of just efficiency. But you can do a written intention and put it under a pyramid. And because you've got the target and the trend and the life energy, it's going to get energized. So whether your generator's downstairs and you're upstairs, whether your generator's at home and you're at work, you can use this sort of setup to give yourself extra flexibility so that you don't forget an operation, so that you write it and get it immediately. Maybe you need to run trends at the office, and and you need fast results. This is one way that you could do that. So. And as I'll say, since this card says trends for Dave, I might not need my target link, because it's specifying who the target is, and who you are, and I know who I am. So you could just maybe do it like this without, and just leave this elsewhere. Okay. And like I said, this right now has a trend link code on it. For this setup right here, you do not need that. okay? I did not need to put the trend link code. The reason it has a trend link code on it is for what I'm going to show you next, which is what we did last time. Was what we did with the trend cards is we put trend cards underneath each pyramid, and then I showed you how to put the trend card on the pyramid and put a link code under a pyramid, okay? So what I could easily do is, so now that we have this, this trend link code on the trend link, okay? You remember these little pieces of paper. So what I could do is I can fold this up, put this on the generator with my target link again. You know, do you need a target link? I like using them personally. So now I've got deep, peaceful, restful sleep, target link Dave. I'll throw it on the generator, but I want one pyramid only. And as you can see, link each small pyramid with each large pyramid so that the larges are not linked. I want to use one pyramid only to energize this trend. Maybe I have 4 trends and I want to dedicate a single pyramid to each trend, okay? All I have to do is take that trend link code, put it under that pyramid that I want to dedicate to it, and now this trend is being energized by this pyramid, okay? And I'll remove this off just to make it clear. I'm just doing it to put it down, but you basically, you know, Orgonite Pyramid is an extra gas tank, okay? It's an extra battery. So, and you can just mix and match, like we've talked about. Like if you want to dedicate a pyramid to a trend, you can do that, and it looks like this. You know, there's a question, I guess, whether I think, you know, because all the large pyramids are connected to the small pyramid. That's why I removed the small from that, because it's like, oh, now we're getting all the pyramids, but. The point is you can mix and match, and it's very modular. Okay, like you can replace parts and add a new part, and but if you want to dedicate a specific pyramid to a trend and have the orgone that is going into this pyramid, and you want to dedicate that to a specific trend, that's how you would do it. Okay, you'd put the trend link code on the trend link, and then you'd put the same code under the pyramid. Now this is dedicated. So I could just, you know, I could create, and I have multiple target links for myself, but, you know, I can create 3 other trends, 3 different codes, put the different codes under each pyramid, and now each trend has its own pyramid that's energizing it. So that's just a cool thing that you can do. I just don't want you to feel limited. I don't want you to feel like you can only do one thing or 2 things. You know, you can really move these. You've got a lot of tools here. These are all, as we always say, tools, not toys. And that goes for the generator, and that also goes for the pyramids themselves. So you can mix and match and do some pretty cool stuff with this, just with you know, some simple stuff like a trend link code. But I want you to know that you can do written intentions. You can energize those with a pyramid, and here's 2 ways to do it. You can put it under the pyramid, or you can put it on your generator and put the trend link code under the pyramid. And as a small addition to this, so I want deep, peaceful, restful sleep, right? So that's my trend. You know, deep, peaceful, restful sleep. And I've got my trend link code. You can we'll keep this in mind right now. So can I add a trend card to this? So I do that a lot. I do a lot of written intentions, and then I add a trend card as well. So that's how I do most of my stuff. I don't just do written intentions. I figure out what I want, I do written intentions, I figure out if there's a corresponding trend card, and I do both. So as you go down my trends, you know, and I'll put them in order. You know, this trend card this trend card goes with this trend. This trend card goes with this written trend. So what you could easily do is this. So I want deep, peaceful, restful sleep. There's a trend card for that, and I'm kind of specifying. This just says restful. I say deep, peaceful, right? More of an energetic connection for me. I could simply do this, and because of the trend link code, it's being energized. Okay. I could also just put this. If I remove the trend link code, I could just put this under a pyramid, and that would work as well. So you can mix and match written intentions or other structural links with trend cards, and there's a few different ways you can energize them, right? So that's just even more flexibility. But you can really work these kind of pyramids and these grids and do a lot of interesting stuff with them. So it's not all about you're not boxed in. Like, these are very, very functional. And going even farther, what if I want deep, peaceful, restful sleep at 7.83 hertz? Well, so I could either write 7.83 hertz on the trend, the written statement itself. I could write it, I've got my 7.83 hertz card. I could write 7.83 hertz, at 7.83 hertz on the trend card. I can write at 7.83 hertz on my actual written intention. I could even set my device to 7.83 hertz. Okay, so there's just a lot of flexibility that you have to figure out to get the results that you want. So I can mix target link plus written intention plus trend card plus written frequency in a variety of forms, and then what can I do? I can put all of that under a pyramid, or if I don't put it under the pyramid, but I want the pyramid to energize it, I'll put it on the device, then I'll put this under the pyramid. Now I've got one pyramid energizing it. What if I want all 4 pyramids energizing it? What can I do? I can either link all pyramids together, so that could do something, or I can just keep putting these. Now I've got 2 pyramids doing it. Let's get my relaxation, stress relief. Now I've got 2 pyramids doing it. Now I've got 3 pyramids doing it. And this is 3 when the larges are not linked, right? So just draw. Like, I draw out my operations. Like, I map them out before I run them. Like, it can take me a long time to write good operations because I'm thinking about, okay, I want to do this here and this there. So using Orgone effectively, it takes some strategy. It takes some thought, and that's just, that's what works for me, is to kind of be logistical about it, analytical about it. And now, so we've talked about putting stuff around your house, and that's, to grid your property. You can do that. Another way, like what I mentioned that I do in a lot of cases, is I like to put all of my pyramids and generators together as close as possible, just on one table. It makes it easier for me, actually 2 tables, but it makes it easier for me to kind of keep track of stuff. So we've covered a lot here. I've shown you some of the flexibility. I hope this is very useful. If you want to watch this video again, get your pyramids with you, get your generator, get your trend cards, get your pieces of paper for written intentions, whatever your structural links are, and really follow step by step and understand the big picture principles of target, trend, life force, how to connect those and all the different options that you have, and develop a strategy for how you want to use your generator and your pyramids. And you can really see what sort of flexibility and power you actually have, because these are all very, very powerful. These boost the output of a device by acting as that extra gas tank, that extra energy well. So that's a good, strong overview of how to use Orgonite Pyramids effectively with an Orgone generator. I hope you learned something, and we'll talk to you soon.